Alright, APTA Standard Development Program Recommended Practice, American Public Transportation Association Master Battery System Periodic Inspection Maintenance. Introduction, frequency of conduct, requirements specifically tasks, materials, tools, safety, personnel, protective equipment, training requirements, inspection, maintenance. 3, correction of deficiencies, and reference 6, reference definitions, abbreviation, acronym, summary, document change, document history. Alright, introduction is no part of the RTVIM RP00902 with the second revision June 28, 2013, recommended with the battery in-system periodic inspection mate with the recommended battery with the in-system periodic inspection mate rail transit vehicle reference with the common viewpoint with those parties, concerned with the provision, namely with the transit operating planning agency, manufacturer consult with the engineers general interest group, the application aid with the standard practice for the guidelines contained within its pure voluntary, in some case with the federal or state regulation or portion of the rail transit system operation. In those cases, with the government regulation with the take precedence over the recommendation, APTA recognized that for the certain application for the standard practices as implemented in individual rail transit system, but are either more or less restrictive than is given in the document. This recommended practice is intended with the railroad transit system personnel performing basic maintenance for the inspection procedure with the rail transit door system. Since each rail transit car may be different, but the procedure step described with the document will not necessarily apply, but not required for every rail transit system maintenance inspection procedure. Your American Public Transportation Association recommends the use of the recommended practice individual organization operating with the rail transit system, individual organization contract with the other operation rail transit systems, individual organization influence how rail transit systems are operated, included but not limited to consultants and designers and contractors. Alright, your battery system periodic inspection maintenance. 1. Frequency of the conduct. Periodic inspection maintenance task of the battery system should be performed on a regular schedule to determine the rail transit system frequency. Any task contained within the recommended practice should comply with the applicable federal, state, local regulations. Further, in conduct rail transit system periodic inspection maintenance program, the frequency and individual tasks shall be established based on the number of additional factors, included but not limited to the following: original equipment manufacturer recommended intervals, industry experience, operating environmental conditions, historic data, performance requirements, failure analysis, reliability, centered maintenance programs requirements, specific task. Warning: read all material, understanding all material safety dash before proceeding with the work with to maintain the battery. Do not wear metal like clothing, jewelry, handling battery components. Use the tools with insulated handles. Only care should be taken to avoid shorting individual cells or groups of cells. Alkaline acid, electrolyte, battery, and strong caustic corrosive agent. Wear rubber gloves and protective goggles, face shield, long sleeve clothing, and approved apron when handling batteries and components. Make sure the emergency water supply is readily available in case the electrolyte accidentally comes in contact with the clothing and the skin of the eyes. Electrolyte is splashed on the clothing of the skin. Wash the affected area immediately with the water for the 10 and 15 minutes, followed with the approved safety procedure for chemical burns or spills. Electrolyte is splashed in the eyes. Immediately flood eyes with water and call a physician. The electrolyte level must be maintained with per original equipment manufacturer recommendations. When the electrolyte levels are low, to remain below minimum level. Lower level of excessive heat is generated with the cells, causing damage to the cell. If the conditions allow to continue for an extended period of time, battery fire could result. Alright, a separate storage maintenance area should be provided with a nickel-cadmium battery for the electrolyte with a chemical opposite with a sulfuric acid for the lead acid battery with the lead acid battery for the contaminate. Electrolyte nickel-cadmium battery precautions should be included with equipment and should hand tools, syringes used in lead acid batteries. Every precaution should be taken to keep anything with a containing acid away from the nickel-cadmium battery shop. Warning: charging batteries given off with a mixture of hydrogen and oxygen gas that are extremely flammable. Never allow sparks and flames, smoking material near the battery area. Warning: use only approved dispenser cell toppers to add water. Battery cells can generate very high currents. Multi-cell batteries can attain high voltage. Caution must be exercised during battery maintenance and prevent electrical burns or shocks. Alright, 2.1. Material. The following materials are normally required with the battery periodic inspection maintenance. Original equipment manufacturer rail transit system recommended lubricants, original equipment manufacturer rail transit system recommendation, cleanup supplies. Reference: the original equipment maintenance made with additional material with a 2-tube with addition with the standard tools. Carry with the maintenance personnel. Standard tools should be suitable and insulated with work on batteries. Following specialized equipment that will be required: digital voltmeter, cell topper, filler, pistol, nylon brush, cell type tester, torque wrench, 0 to 250 pounds an inch. hydrometer tools marked with a asterisk require periodic calibration specified by rail transit system. Practice refer to the original equipment that manufactures special requirements for the other specialized tooling. Alright, 2-3, safety, personnel, protective equipment, appropriate personal protective equipment meet the minimum A and SI standards as required for the rail transit system worn at all times. Performance of the inspection maintenance tasks for the following personal protective equipment should be worn while performing these inspection maintenance tasks. Approved apron, protective face shield with goggles, rubber glove, the training requirements. Rail transit system, other maintenance for the contractor should develop the executing training with the program of the provided employee with the knowledge and skill necessary to safely and effectively perform tasks outlined in recommended practices. Alright, 2-5, the inspection and maintenance. In all the following procedure for the recommended practice of the original equipment, the manufacturer of the maintenance manual should refer to the such items such as torque values, condemning limit, the clearance measurement, the specified pressure, the specific procedure methodology device should be cleaned with a proper inspect with the procedure of the cover only the visual inspection, gauging, adjusting the functioning of the test of the battery system out of the rail transit vehicle. Some procedures may require heavy lifting of the supported device due to the size of the weight of the equipment. Some procedures require more than one individual. Some procedure will not be applicable due to the design variation. Methodology for the resolution of the deficiency noted with the inspection, gauging, adjusting, functional testing of the battery's associated device should be tailored with the rail transit system in conjunction with the original equipment manufacturer. Documentation, inspection, maintenance process into the interval deficiency resolution of those deficiencies found should be done in comprehensive manner so to create the useful data to enhance the reliability and accountability of the process. The following suggested inspection maintenance procedure for the intended for the use of the conjunction with the original equipment manufacturer inspection maintenance procedure in an event with the collective between the recommended practice of the manufacturer recommendation shall prevail. Alright, 251. Prepare the barrier for the inspection. Place barrier switches break over the opposition plate for the lockout tag over the rail transit system. Proceed with the remove of the battery box for the cover of the open battery box slide crate assembly battery tray. If equipped, out of the fully extend with the strip of the position. Disconnect with the battery leads as of the original equipment manufacturer and rail transit system procedures. Crate assembly. Make sure the cells assembly are properly seated within each crate assembly. Make sure each crate assembly is clean and dry. Inspect each crate assembly for the proper drainage. Check with the shelf the weakened crate the structure. Inspect each cell assembly for the sign of the leakage or each corrosion, physical damage. Batteries that are excessively corroded should be removed from the car from proper cleaning. Clean battery and tray. The soft nylon brush to loosen the accumulation of the corrosion of the battery terminals. Use the clean lint-free wiping rags. The wiping cells clean. Use water to clean tops of the cell only if absolutely with the necessary vent cap should be closed during the cleaning. It's important to keep the battery dry clean with a contributive with the top performance of maximum surface life of the non-contamination cell during topping off. 254. Your electrolyte. Caution. Avoid contamination electrolyte. Only distilled deionized water that has been properly labeled to store plastic container to maximize safety while working on the battery. Always keep the vent closed except for the mounting of the top of the pressure specific gravity electrolyte. Open the vent plug, assemble with the insert glass plastic hydrometer into the cells assembly. If the contact of the top of the plate, use the hydrometer, remove the electrolyte from the cell, measure the specific gravity electrolyte, return the electrolyte to cell, repeat on all cells. Adjust the electrolyte level in each cell assembly with a distilled deionized water as required so the electrolyte level in all the cells above this plates according to the original equipment manufacturer recommendation. Unsell with a transparent case fill the top line, close all vent plugs assembly. Wipe clean exterior surface of all the cell assembly. Create assembly the interior of the battery box with a clean, lint-free wiping rags. Use less than 30 psi compressed air in accordance with the OSHA Trial 29 CFR 1910-242B. Blow dry cell assembly. Create assembly and interior battery box. Caution: not splash spill water with electrolyte on the battery. Do not overfill the battery when the electrolytes are allowed to remain above the maximum upper level. Overflow the electrolyte could result when the electric exterior of the battery is wet. Ground leakage or erratic battery operation could result. Alright, 255, battery connection inspection. Check the cell to cell, post to post, rigid connectors, loose connection, missing, defective with the hardware, corrosion, hot spots. Place repair torque are the original equipment manufacturer specification. Check intercrate flexible jumper cables for loose connection, missing, defective hardware, chafing, and loose lugs, and repair and replace as required. 256, battery lead inspection. Check the battery lead for the shaft if the cut installation place is required. Check the battery lead for the broken strain for the replace is required for the corrosion for the terminal cable lug for the cleaning and replace is required. Check the battery lead for the worn loose cable lugs. Place is required. Check the battery connection for the loose hardware. Torque nuts are off the original equipment manufacturer specifications. Cell voltage. Ensure the battery is disconnected with the charging system all load with the cell voltage test of the digital voltmeter measure record each of the cell voltage. If any of the cell's voltage differ from the average of more than the manufacturer recommendation, record, inspect, report, and notify the proper individual in accordance with the rail transit system procedure. Check output voltage of the power supply battery charger at barrier lead terminals. Temperature sensor. Check the temperature sensor for the traffic cut, insulation broken, string with a cracked or broken casing. Repair, replace as required. Check for the temperature sensor. Proper resistant reading of the original equipment manufacturer. Check with the temperature sensor for the secure mounting. Repair as required. Battery box condition. Check the condition of the battery box with the crack of the brakes for the repair of the place as required. Inspect battery box with the brackets with the loose missing with the mounting of the hardware. Tighten loose mounting with the hardware with the replace missing mounting hardware. Check battery box with the dirt on the tray raising rack. Assembly cleaning is required with the sash brush. Inspect vent holes with the dirt vent holes with the dirty air clogged. Clean the area around holes with a bristle brush. 21510, repair battery for operation. Place crate into the battery tray with which was removed. Reconnect the inner crate flexible jumper cable to remove the torque nuts of the original equipment manufacturer's connection. Specification: connect the battery leads as the original equipment manufacturer rail transit system procedure. Apply thin coat non-oxidizing anti-seize compound equivalent all ridge connectors and nuts. Push battery tray if equipped with the battery box. Check for the ease of the movement and engagement of the locking device. Close the doors and screw the latches. 2511 battery miscellaneous equipment. Check for the battery train line fuses equipment they found open. Oversee the cause for the before replacement. Check for the battery train line resistors if equipped. Inspect for the general condition security of the attachment and proper resistance are required. 3. Correction of the deficiency. Any deficiency uncovered during the inspection of 25 through 2511 should be correctly documented in accordance with the established rail transit system procedures, original equipment manufacturer recommendations. And then it goes into your references, definitions, abbreviations, summary of documents of change, and document history.